Or you're I hate my neighbors. I don't know how to talk to them. I have this one neighbor who is a biker, like a motorcycle guy. He has a motorcycle gang, and they come and they hang out at his house every Wednesday when the weather is nice. And, you know, then they hang out, they have some beers, and then they drive home at midnight, and it's sort of annoying because it's all like, we're so exciting, look at us, you know. But they really don't bother me that much because a lot of my neighbors are really loud and trashy, and they litter, and they have to like children. I live in South Philly. So the biker doesn't really bother me that much in the grand scheme of things. I thought until a couple weeks ago I was walking up our street and the weather had gotten nice, so everyone was outside on their stoops smoking and yelling, as you do when you're unemployed in South Philadelphia. And he's got a garage where his biker gang goes and they all hang out. And I'm walking by and I just kind of take a look to the side, and hanging below the garage is open, and hanging right below the garage is a Nazi flag. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is that? There was just a Nazi flag on my street. And so it's this giant flag. It's red. It has a big white X in the background. It's you know, decorated with iron crosses and little lightning bolts, and in the middle there's this giant fucking swastika and a skull, and the skull is wearing a Nazi hat and a Nazi collar. And I'm like really shocked because whatever, I'm a normal human being, I guess, and I look around at all my trashy neighbors sitting around, and like no one thinks this is weird. This is just like, sure, yeah, Nazi lives on the street, that's cool, no problem. So I just kind of keep walking away bewildered, and it took me a second that I didn't even really notice the Confederate flag right next to it, because that really, like, it wasn't that bad compared to the Nazi flag. So I went on my way and I came home and I told my husband about it, and he had the same reaction that pretty much everyone who I've told this story to, and he's like, wait, what? Are you fucking kidding me? Like a Nazi flag on our street? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, who is this person? What the hell is he thinking about? What year is this? What country do we live in? So, which is pretty much everyone I know had that reaction, except all of my neighbors apparently. So we kind of have a couple weeks where we're kind of freaking out about this. We don't know what to do. I made this assumption about someone who flies a Nazi flag that they might not want to have a rational conversation with me where I critique their choice on hanging a Nazi flag on behalf of mankind. I didn't think they'd want to have that conversation, so we're just like, shit, we're going to have to move. No one's going to want to buy a house. So we finally come up with a strategy with how to deal with this. And by strategy, I mean we actually went to a concert, had a couple drinks, and came home and confronted him when we were a little bit drunk. Not our best moment, but we were, we weren't like trash. It wasn't like, yeah, you fucking bring the Third Reich out here. We were just a little bit braver than usual. And my husband walks up to him. It's Wednesday night, the garage door is open, the guy's there, he's got all his biker friends there. I know, this is a really good idea. And we walk up and my husband goes, dude, what the fuck, you're flying a Nazi flag, you some kind of an asshole? So we're committed at this point to this discussion. And the guy comes out and he's like, well, why do you care what kind of flag I fly? And we're like, because everyone can see it, because it's on our block, because we live here, because you have black neighbors, because you have Asian neighbors, because you have gay neighbors. Okay, most of his neighbors are Italians from South Philadelphia. But because we're human beings and we live on this planet, and pretty much everyone outside of this block will agree that this is wrong. And he's like, what, so you just walk up here and you just call me an asshole? And we're like, well, yeah, kind of. That's sort of the universal agreement that when you fly a Nazi flag, you're an asshole. Now it went way over. So then this woman pulls up. She gets out and inserts herself into the conversation. Still not really sure who she is. I've seen her on the back of his motorcycle a couple of times, so I can only assume that she's his old lady. She walks up and she says, what, are you guys offended by this flag? I'm Jewish and I'm not offended. Okay. So again, I've told my friends this story and they've had the same reaction. One of my friends was like, are you kidding me? She is not Jewish. And I thought that was really cool because I didn't know that Jewish people could like undo other Jewish people. She was just like, bitch, you are out of the tribe. That's awesome. So I went back and forth like that, and I was like, well, this is not the real original meaning. The Nazis stole it. I didn't do it. we're like, oh, so you're Buddhist, so you go to the Buddhist temple down the street, so explain to us what the original meaning of the symbol is, and why there's a guy in a Nazi uniform on it. And went back and forth like that a little bit, but the best was when the girl said something again, and she's like, well, you know, you're going to be the first people who are upset when, you know, some niggers move into the street and drive the property value down. She actually said that. It's very hard to say the N-word, I understand. And I did have to explain to her at that point, you know what really drives down the property value is having a swastika on the street. You dumb bitch. So we managed to go home unharmed. A couple days later, I was brave. I'm like, I need to get a photograph of this because this is ridiculous. I need to prove to people what's happening. So I went by, snapped a photo of it with my iPhone, kept walking. The guy was there and he follows me. A little scary, right? So he's like, hey, you know what? If your husband, well, if you want me to take down the flags, all you have to do is buy me new flags because we're just using them to keep the sun out. So I'm like, okay. I go home and tell my husband this, and we're like thinking about it, and we're like, yeah, you know what? It might be worth it to just give it a try. I don't know what game he's playing, and we're like, shit, are we appeasing him? Is that a Munich agreement? Do these flags represent Czechoslovakia? Damn it. We're like, okay, so $6 and maybe losing some South Philadelphia street cred might be worth it. We buy these $6 flags, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, fucking rainbow flag, right? If that's going to be the deal. Rainbow flag, my little pony flag, kill whitey flag, so you can push that up. We actually just come to an agreement to just get him something we assume he'll like, POW flag, pirate flag. That's very cool and motorcycle-y. So we bring it down to him a couple days later. Again, this takes a lot of bravery on my part, so I really don't want to confront this guy. And he's just like, and we're like, hey, here are these flags, POW flag, pirate flag, what do you think? He's like, yeah, you know, man, anything that's cool is cool. Well, obviously, there's some disagreements about that. He actually says to us, you know, guys, I really kind of thought about what you said, and, you know, I'm glad you guys stopped by, and I really, you know, I kind of understand where you're coming from. And again, for better for worse, we're like, you know, we're sorry we approached you the way we did. It wasn't really our best hour, but we really did want to talk to you about this. He had actually already taken the flags down, thrown them in the trash, so we saw them in the trash. And he says to us, you know, I'm going to burn those, and I'm going to hang your flags with pride. So, you know, maybe he just wasn't really a bad guy. He just did something that he thought was funny or whatever and didn't really think it through. And sometimes you really just do need to talk to people, and maybe they will listen. So now maybe I have an advocate and a partner to help me with the rest of my turkey.